Death toll from Niger petrol tanker explosion rises to 60. Petrol pump price surges to 1,150 naira after Dangote hike. ASU Taraba Varsity chapter suspends strike after 1 month. On the foreign scene, Mozambique's ex-finance minister sentenced in U.S. in loan scandal. Good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Aisha Salihu. The news in detail. We'll begin with a sad development. 60 bodies have so far been recovered from the scene of a tanker explosion that happened at Dikko Gurara local government area of Niger State. Trust TV had reported how PMS-laden tanker exploded on Saturday around 9 a.m., killing scores and injuring several others. The Niger State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Kumar Sokwam, told Daily Trust that the incident happened when the tanker with registration number KBG103XAX belonging to HMY Oil and Gas, driven by one Mohammed Modu. He said the tanker was loaded with 60,000 of premium motor spirit from Lagos and built to deliver the product at Gwagwalda, Federal Capital Territory, when the body detached from the head, leading to the fall of the vehicle. He said the victims were mostly scavengers who gathered to scoop the fuel despite efforts to stop them. He added that the tanker, after engulfing in flame and extended to another laden tanker. However, the Director General, Niger State Emergency Management Agency, Abdullahi Baba Ara, said the explosion was caused by a generator being used to transfer the fuel from the falling tanker to another tanker.
Hello, guy, na kwana sa. Wallahi wani tanki ne ya fada Dikko Junction. Kuma mutane suna kwashe mai a wajen, amma yanzu wuta ta tashi. Wallahi kusa da gidanmu ko wallahi. Kafin opposite Badegi. Wallahi. Ka gani? Ga gidanmu nan, ga daya gudu nan, ga wutan nan.
In the meantime, Niger State Governor Muhammad Umaru Bago has expressed shock over a fatal tanker explosion that claimed several lives in Dikko Junction around the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway. Bago, in a statement signed by his Chief Press Secretary, Balogi Ibrahim, described the explosion as worrisome, heartbreaking and unfortunate. He sympathized with the families of the victims of the explosion and prayed that Allah will repose the souls of the departed and heal the injured. However, the governor cautioned people to always be responsible and give priority to their safety. A petrol tanker had fallen at Dikko Junction Saturday morning but exploded after some residents of the area went to scoop its content. It was further gathered scores have been burnt to death, while several others sustained various degrees of burn injuries following the explosion. Now, the pump prices of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, have risen to between 1,050 naira and 1,150 naira per litre, depending on the area of purchase, following the hike in the cost of the commodity by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and various depot owners. Dealers confirmed that PMS prices would continue to rise since the major component in fuel production, crude oil, has been on the upward swing lately. The national president of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Festus Osifo, earlier alluded to this when he pointed out that petrol prices might soon rise if the cost of crude oil continued to increase. On Friday, there was an upward adjustment in the price of petrol produced by the Dangote Petrochemical Refinery. The $20 billion plant raised its PMS from 899 naira per litre to 955 naira per litre at its loading gantry. The refinery, in an email statement sent to its customers and obtained by one of our correspondents, said its refined products would now be priced at the new cost. Now, away from that, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Taraba State University Chapter, has suspended its over 1 month strike action. The ASU chairman, Joshua Mbaver, who disclosed this in a press statement on Saturday, said the state has agreed to meet the demands of the union that necessitated the strike action on December 5, 2024. According to the statement, the strike action was necessitated by the Taraba state government's partial implementation of multiple memoranda of understanding and memoranda of action agreed upon by the union, with the union since 2014. The ASU chairman disclosed that key issues under dispute have been addressed with commitments. The ASU chairman also thanked Governor Agbu Kefas for his commitment and proactive leadership in resolving the recent dispute. Now, the Lagos state government has ordered the closure of Smiley Kids Montessori School located in Heritage Place Estate, Sangotedo, following a swimming pool accident that claimed the life of a 2-year-old girl, Rafaela Ogbodo. The announcement was made via a statement shared on the Lagos state government's official X account on Saturday. According to the statement, officials from the Lagos State Safety Commission and the Office of Education Quality Assurance under the Ministry of Education visited the school to conduct a preliminary investigation into the circumstances surrounding the incident and later sealed it to allow for a thorough investigation and also identify potential lapses that led to the unfortunate death. On Thursday, a Nigerian woman identified simply as Ella had called for justice following the death of her 2-year-old daughter at a school in Lagos. She explained that her daughter left for school on Wednesday but did not return alive. Now, Katsina State Governor Dikko Rada on Tuesday distributed educational materials to schools at the Government House, Katsina. The materials include 25,000 copies each of mathematics, computer science, and English language textbooks for basic primary 4 to 6 pupils and 18 buses for project coordination and special needs equipment for the school for the blind. The report.
As part of the infrastructure development plan, Governor Rada also announced the disbursement of 4.737 billion naira to 150 primary schools identified with significant infrastructure deficits. Similarly, to enhance monitoring and evaluation, the governor also distributed 70 motorcycles to quality assurance officers across the 34 local government areas of the state.
The state has consistently prioritized the education sector, providing unwavering support to the implementation of the TEST project and other developmental projects aimed at transforming education in the state. Our government has worked tirelessly to ensure that all necessary resources and infrastructure are put in place to enable the smooth, successful execution of these initiatives.
The governor called on school-based management committees and community members to take ownership of the projects, emphasizing the importance of maintenance and community involvement in protecting schools' infrastructure. He reaffirmed his administration's commitment to improving teachers' welfare, noting that a system of rewards for dedicated educators has already been implemented.
This has been hammering the educational progress and development in our various primary schools. Starting in some time and in some locations, you go 10 o'clock in the morning, but students and teachers are not in schools. We have to hold someone responsible for this, and I want to assure you that I have focused my attention now to the visitation of schools, both primary and secondary schools, to ensure that.
In her remarks, the State Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Zainab Musawa, represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Khairi Ahmed, stressed that under the governor's guidance, the state has witnessed remarkable strides in the education sector.
Now, residents of the Federal Capital Territory have called on the federal government to give Jabi Lake Park a facelift to enable it meet international standards. Trustee Kabir Lawal, who spoke with some of the residents, reports that the lake has deteriorated to a level that needs a facelift. The report.
Jabi Lake in the Federal Capital Territory is always beehive of activities, especially weekends. Engineer Dayo Folari, a frequent visitor to the lake for the past 15 years, further explained that government can make it more comfortable for friends and families to relax and unwind.
It's a park. We come here for leisure, for exercises, and then because coming here we formed a very incredible bond. Quite a few of us, if you can see around, we have friends. And so coming here, it's a beautiful getaway from social vices. If you check in one of these global statistics released recently, it says Nigerians are one of the happiest people in the world. The reason being that we have devised a way around our problems. We try to make sure that we are happy no matter what.
Another resident, Abdullahi Shehu, said coming out for regular exercise at the park is important, not just to the body, but also an avenue to familiarize themselves with people from other fields.
You meet a lot of people, new faces. It's like a center of city. Everybody comes to have fun for free. You don't need to pay a dime. You understand? So we have an organization here. We have been together for over 15 years now. Maybe so if anybody lost his parent or lost his loved ones, we go there, visit each other, we contribute. We're always together like a family, one family, big family. Place is not neat enough because a lot of people are coming here. You can see white. Everybody's coming to have fun, and it's the center of town. It's where everybody knows Jabi Lake. So what they need to do just to make it more fun.
Other residents urged government to provide security to curb the menace of phone snatching, among others, and also enable it to attract investors.
Exercise is a way of life that is different from the other ways of life. You understand? So there's no tally between exercise and the economic realities that the country is facing. No matter what you do, you should always find a way to exercise the body.
Despite the economic crunch in the country, people still come out here en masse to have fun. And one can attribute this to an adage which says, all works without play makes Jacks a dull boy. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
A consultant dermatologist from the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Dr. Anaba Ahiage, says frequent use of a sponge for bathing is unnecessary. According to Dr. Ahiage, while sponging oneself is acceptable, a soft cloth or washcloth should be used, adding that sponges should be avoided entirely for children. The report.
According to Dr. Ahiage, bathing with a sponge isn't inherently harmful, but frequent use, especially with harsh sponges, can be problematic. While sponges come in various types and colors, exfoliating the skin through sponge use is not essential but is popular because it is a practice often passed down through generations.
Most people use sponge simply because we have all grown up using sponge. But you need to realize that when you use a sponge, what you actually do is you are scraping off the top surface of the skin, and the word for that is exfoliating. And now you actually need that surface to protect the human skin because that surface does not allow bacteria or other things to penetrate the skin. So when you keep scrubbing, you actually scrub up that your protective layer. That's one. Number two, and very importantly, a lot of people, by the time they scrub a lot, they actually make what we call histamines, and this can result in people being itchy. That's the skin becomes itchy. So really, sponging you don't need. When we have a bath, all we want to do is just take off the dirt.
To understand the prevalence of sponge use, we spoke to Lagos residents about their bathing habits and those of their children.
They have their method on how they take their bath and or how often they make use of their sponges and soaps. But as for me, I take bathing as one of my medicine, one of the medicine I get, especially if I'm tired. So each time I take my bath, I get more relief. I'll become more relief. So for me, I take my bath either once or twice in a day.
For me, I normally use my sponge if I return back from work in the evening. So, but if I want to take my night bath, I will not take any like sponge because of, I want to go and rest and I don't need anything like a sponge. I'll just take my bath with enough water, shower very well. But as for my children, children, their skin is very light. Likewise, parents also, their skin is very light. We don't need to have something.
I use sponge only in the morning when I'm going to work in the morning. So coming back in the evening, I only bathe with bathing soap and water. Then my children in the morning when they are going to school, I bathe them with sponge. When they return from school, because of the play in the school and whatever, I use bathing soap and water to bathe them. Then going to bed at night, I use only water, ordinary water to bathe them.
Dr. Anaba strongly advised parents, particularly mothers, to refrain from using sponges on their children. Instead, she recommends bathing them with plenty of water and soap while gently rubbing their bodies with their hands.
Applies to everybody, all ages, especially children. Now the child, what is the child doing? Just playing in the sand, and what's on the child's skin? Just dust. Soap and water, we get that out. There's no point, there's no need to use a hard sponge on a child's skin, and that skin is so tender. You don't want to do that to the child, and then the next thing you have a lot of cuts on the child, and before you know it, there's another disease coming on the child. So please, mothers, if you're listening, please no hard sponge on your child. Just use a soft cloth if you must use a sponge.
The medical consultant and dermatologist advised that if a sponge must be used, a soft cloth or washcloth is preferable, adding that hands are perfectly capable of effectively cleaning our bodies.
Now, local nail cutting business is not considered lucrative by any stretch of imagination, but 65-year-old Salihu Abdullahi says he performed holy pilgrimage and built his personal house through proceeds from the business. Ahmed Dati, who had a chat with the Kano-based local pedicurist, sends this report.
Malam Salihu Abdullahi joined the nail cutting business at a very young age and is proud of his accomplishment in the job with over 50 years of experience.
When I started this job, I was charging just 1 or 2 shilling, and later it rose to 5 shilling, and later 20 shilling.
Through savings from his earnings, the 65-year-old Salihu Abdullahi is a proud owner of a house he is living with his family at Endin Shakwatas.
Through this business, I was opportune to travel and perform holy pilgrimage. Prominent people among my clients were Suleji Kankorau, Ibrahim Babankowa, the policeman, and the late Abubakar Rimi.
Sai Alhaji Ibrahim Babankowa wanda ya yi kwamishina na 'yan sanda a dacin Malas. Sai Rimi Alhaji Kanshi.
The late Abubakar Rimi, former governor of all Kano State, was among some of the regular clients of Abdullahi, who say he derives pleasure doing the job. Ahmed Datti, Trust TV News, Kano.
And now to developments in business. A total of 1.4 trillion naira being December 2024 Federation accounts revenue has been shared among the federal government, states and local government councils. The revenue was shared at the January 2025 Federation Account Allocation Committee meeting held in Abuja. The Director of Press and Public Relations Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Bawa Mokwa, disclosed this in a statement on Friday. The 1.4 trillion naira total distributable revenue comprised distributable statutory revenue of 386.1 billion naira, distributable value-added tax revenue of 604.8 billion naira, electronic money transfer levy revenue of 31.2 billion naira, and exchange difference revenue of 402.7 billion naira. A communique issued by the Federation Account Allocation Committee indicated that total gross revenue of 2.3 trillion naira was available in the month of December 2024. Total deduction for cost of collection was 84.7 billion naira, while total transfers, interventions and refunds was 801.1 billion naira. And now to developments away from Nigeria. Former Mozambique Finance Minister Manuel Chang was on Friday sentenced in a New York court to 8.5 years in prison, 6 of which he has already spent behind bars in the United States and South Africa. Chang was convicted in August last year for his role in the so-called hidden debt graft scandal that sparked an economic crisis in his home country. He was found guilty of accepting $7 million in bribes in exchange for signing off on about $2 billion in secret loans to state-owned companies from major overseas banks. They were supposed to pay for projects including the purchase of a tuna fishing fleet and improvements to maritime security. Instead, the funds were plundered through bribes and kickbacks, while the projects collapsed and the companies defaulted. This left investors with millions of dollars in losses and Mozambique stuck with a $2 billion debt equal to about 12% of its gross domestic product at the time. Still on the foreign scene, the Brazilian government has announced the formal admission of Nigeria as a partner country in the multinational bloc known as BRICS. This was contained in a statement by the Brazil Foreign Ministry on Friday. According to Brazil, BRICS and Nigeria share common interests as both actively strive to enhance cooperation among Global South countries and advocate for the reform of international organizations. Brazil currently holds the BRICS presidency for 2025, having taken over from Russia on January 1. Nigeria has joined Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda, and Uzbekistan, the 9th partner countries of BRICS, a category established at the 16th BRICS Summit in Kazan in October 2024. And finally, in sports, Nigeria Premier Football League has announced the arrival of the official match ball for the 2024-2025 season. The league's chief operating officer, Davidson Owumi, disclosed this in a statement on Friday. Owumi urged clubs participating in the league to pick up their balls at the NPFL Secretariat in Abuja. He, however, stated that the official match balls will only be allowed during NPFL matches in the second stanza, which is expected to commence on Saturday, January 25. Remo Stars currently occupy top spot on the NPFL table with 36 points. And that's about it on the news update at this moment. Remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching. Join us.